There we go. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Living a Graceful Life. I'm Tracy Gelb, and I'll be hosting this evening. I'm so excited to have Beth, and I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Hinderaker.
Hinderaker, like rock and roll.
Rocker. Oh, okay, Hinderaker. And Beth is a practitioner liaison with something called New Life Sciences and with microvascular health solutions. And she is involved heavily in the field of optimizing vascular health, particularly microscopic blood flow and the health of the endothelial glycocalyx.
Perfectly pronounced.
Thank you. I was working on that. And so happy to have you here, Beth. And I would like to have you tell us, please, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. I'll be 61 in November. And I came to naturopathic health because I had a need. I was actually born 3.5 months early as an ultra preemie back in 1962, and I was just over 2 pounds. I had no clue what to do with me. So they put a little IV in my heel and filled me with tetracycline for a whole week, which, at that stage of gestation, your gut and your lungs haven't even formed properly. So my immune system was damaged before it could form. So I was just that sickly kid all the time, my whole life. Half the year, whenever anybody else got something, I had it 10 times worse. So I grew up sick, not sick, sick, not sick, lots of antibiotics. And by the time I was an adult, I just muscled through and did it. And I moved to Southern California. And there were a lot of naturopathic practitioners. And I just networked. I was like, there has to be a way to, I was 31 when I moved. And I'm like, there has to be a way for me to have optimal health without having to have antibiotics on and off for 6 months of the year. And so I just dug in and I asked questions and made some great friends and learned so much, fell in love with acupressure, acupuncture, natural chiropractics, learned a lot about immune system, and then specialized in the gut, and just fell in love with it and completely turned my health around, turned my kids' health around. My kids all came out sick, even though I lived 100% organic and grew all our food. I mean, I was pretty hardcore, but they all came out with asthma. And by 5th grade, we'd beaten asthma with all my kids naturally. So I was pretty excited to share any information that I could, because I saw other moms of young children going through what my mom had gone through with me. And I saw that there really was no need to live in that state. And so that kind of started my journey into helping others. And then companies whose products changed my life, I had the opportunity to come on and represent and learn a lot more, and then be servant-hearted in my community, and loved it. And that all these years later, 38 years later, has led me to specializing in microscopic blood flow. And I'm really passionate about what I do, because life is in the blood. It's the root of all health. It's the beginning of all health. And I love that with simple changes, we can have a profoundly optimal life, and it's not difficult to do.
I agree. I've actually heard you on before when you and my mom were doing an interview, and it was so interesting to me. We also take the products from the company, from the New Life, and I want to know a little more. Tell me a little more about your history as far as getting to, say, for example, before, what were you doing for work before you got involved in?
I've always actually been an entrepreneur in the health and wellness space, because that was where my difficulties came from my whole life. And I've never been a 9 to 5 punch the clock kind of gal, never a good employee for others. I wanted my time and my freedom. And I just saw that there was so much to share. So I actually started in naturopathic skincare, because I can't get much whiter than Beth right here, right? I never tan, I'm blonde. So, I needed to be hypoallergenic with everything I did. I made all of my family's self-care products because I had to. There weren't a lot of organic things out there, so I had to learn how to do it. And as then the other companies came along, it was a lot easier to represent their products than always make my own. And that's kind of how I dove in with the skincare. And then I moved from that into stem cell. And I represented some great products that were just cutting edge, that helped your body make more of its own stem cells, which was amazing. And then this company learned of my history and invited me to be a part of their founding council to set the culture of the company. And so I sat down with them and got to know them and was just really impressed with what they started with. And then I knew where they wanted to go, because they shared that with me under non-disclosure. And I was really excited with what I saw coming. And right in the middle of the pandemic is when we were able to unveil what we have now and changed so many lives. And I know where we're going even further than this. And so I just dearly, I wake up every morning with a smile because I get to change lives and I love it.
That's what it's all about. I mean, it really is. I think about if we can have a true purpose and it's to help people and educate people, and it's something I'm so passionate about it. You know, I come from a very holistic, passionate mom who just
Yes, you
spends her
do.
life trying to help people. And I think that, you know, the things that I've heard you say, and
Mhm.
as far as the product and just, I know during the pandemic, it's been, I know for me personally, and I'm sure as you have in your field, I've seen a large health decline in people. I mean, health
Yes.
and mental and brain decline. Tell me a little bit about the supplements as far as how they help with that.
Yes. So I'll say right away that the main supplement that I talk about is the one that really repairs, rejuvenates, and then protects your vascular flow, because that's where it all begins. Yes, we have other supplements and they're amazing, but the swim lane I really like to stay in is let's fix the flow first. That's really important. So that giant word that you said at the beginning, endothelial glycocalyx, or I call it the EG for short,
Okay,
is
that's good.
actually, yeah, it's the largest organ in our body. So we have 65,000 miles of blood vessels in our body, from the big giant ones that come right out of our heart down to the tiniest ones that wrap around and attach to all our organs and directly feed our organs their nutrition and oxygen and then remove the waste. And those are so tiny, you could fit 200 of those inside one human hair. That's profound when you think about it. And 99% of every blood flow produced by every heartbeat has to make it through those tiny ones to reach your organs and feed them. But things like illness, injury, chronic antibiotics, chronic health conditions, I'll say it right out loud, COVID and sepsis, because they're clotting disorders, ruin that lining. So that lining looks like hair. My son-in-law has this glorious beard, a bushy beard. And so I think in pictures. So it's like you have a beard growing inside your whole vascular system, and it grows down out of the walls and it wiggles. The hairs wiggle. And every time your heart beats, like boom, boom, it goes shoo, shoo. So it moves the blood along to its endpoint. But if those hairs curl up or they shorten or they get patchy, like think 5 o'clock shadow versus a thick beard, then your blood cannot flow. It cannot make it to the end. And so then your organs starve. Like they're starving because they're not getting their food, they're not getting their oxygen, they can't get rid of waste. Then the connect between the brain and the gut and the thyroid and all the hormones, it can't work. You know, our bodies are gloriously designed to heal themselves if we give them the right tools. And so the most important thing to do is fix that blood flow, because I don't care how many supplements you take. If you don't have flow, the supplements aren't doing anything for you. So I really concentrate on helping people fix that flow first. And then after that, let's find out what you need. Because me, I'm 61. I don't color my hair, don't wear makeup. I never get sick. My hair is twice as sick as it was when I was 30. They had to decrease my eyeglasses. I mean, it's crazy the changes. And I was a kid who was sickly most of my life. And I'm healthier now than when I was 30 years old because I have optimal blood flow. So my food is my medicine now. I take everything in nutritionally, and that's the way it's meant to be. So I love the fact that it is a nutraceutical, which means it's a live food. There are no chemicals or preservatives, all vegan, plant-based, organic. There's no one who can't take it. And I love that because there's no contraindications with any known medication or supplement. So, you know, we have pregnant moms taking it. We have as young as 2 years old and as old as 102. So of course it's a different serving size, but I love the fact that its only job is to regrow the damaged hairs, make them thick, make them work well, patch any holes, and then protect that whole system.
Yeah.
So I love it. It's the most important nutrient you can take every day the rest of your life. Yeah.
Well, you've definitely convinced me. I can tell you that. And you know, we also believe in completely holistic, 100%. And I'm a huge believer in let food be thy medicine.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. I'm learning so much. Honestly, staying with my mom, I've learned it's priceless. And I didn't to hear it from somebody like you, it sounds so viable and doable. But I know personally, as you know, it's a change, but it's a wonderful change. And like you, I feel the best that I have in many, many, many years. I used to be on antibiotics for all kinds of different things and didn't even think about any other thing than I was going to take the antibiotics. I would never have thought about, for a UTI, drinking a ton of water, doing essential oils, eating a specific way, having the real cranberries, not the, ocean spray, but the real cranberries. And, and that's what I do. That's what I do now. I have, knock on wood around here, no antibiotics, no medications, no, not even an aspirin. And my mom is turning 77, not one medication of any kind, and is healthier than most 25-year-olds. And that's
I love that. I
yeah,
love
through our food and now we take the supplements that you provide and also the other ones that we, highly research. I mean, everything that we take
I think we both take all the same stuff. When you and your mom and I first met, I'm like, oh, that's a great company. Oh, that's a great company.
which is wonderful. It's wonderful. And it's something that I share with my friends and my students, as I'm sure you do. And that's how I feel, even if it's, say 1 in 50 that'll say to me, oh, I'd like to try this, or it's the most rewarding feeling, because as I'm changing and look at the health issues you had all throughout your young life from something of no fault of yours being born, and look at how amazing. I mean, I was thinking of your hair when we were talking a few minutes before, and I was thinking that's weird. I'm surprised that she colors it because I know you're so holistic.
I don't.
It's gorgeous. I mean,
I don't. Yeah, I actually, this is the first part of my life where people will cross the street to compliment my hair. People I don't know say, oh my gosh, your hair is amazing. I'm looking around like, who are you looking at? Because never in my life, my hair's always been thin and fine and straight. And now I have wave and it's thicker. For me, it's thicker. I'm sure you have lovely, really thick hair.
Thank you.
But, I love the fact that at 61, I just get up, wash and go, and it takes care of itself. And that's how I know that my blood flow is optimal, because the roots of your hair is the last place your nutrition reaches. It's the very last place. So all those years that I was chronically ill, my hair was like straw. It was just wispy, fly away, very patchy and thin. It would fall out in clumps in the shower. And my mom is almost bald, and she's been that way for many years because she's in very poor health. And you can take a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. So she's very AMA. If you're ill, take a pill, is what she said all my years growing up, honestly. And it wasn't until I was out on my own as a young adult that I got to make my own choices that I could discover what I've discovered. And this is how I knew I was really getting all my nutrition. It was the first sign. That and the whites of my eyes became really white, like never any red, which is because, again, the microscopic circulation inside your eyes is the last place nutrition goes as well. My fingernails grow like crazy now. Never in my life have they done that. So I love it. I'm like, here's all the signs that I'm getting all my nutrition, which is great. And I love the fact that I can say, outside of one body ache, flu, I haven't even had the sniffles in 6 years.
Amazing.
First time in my whole life. So I'm just really excited by that.
That's absolutely amazing. And I work in facilities with, I see 100 to 200 people probably a week, at least 100. And knock on, I don't know what to knock on here for this one, but I've never had COVID. I haven't had a cold in 5 years or anything even remotely. So I feel like we're definitely on the same wavelength. I love speaking with people about wellness and health and understanding that we can heal everything by what we put in our mouth. And also, I'm a big believer, I work with the brain. So I'm a big believer in we can heal through our brain, through our thoughts, and through our, that's all part of the whole holistic way of wellness. And I'm on a healing journey for the last specifically 2 years, but the last 6.5 years. And it's just been magical. And I'm understanding so much more about the food connection. My mom used to say, your stomach is it's a brain.
It's your second brain. Your gut is your second brain. Yeah.
And so I think about that now. What is the name of I'm just thinking offhand, the name of the products.
Yes,
I know we have them in the kitchen.
I'm sorry, it's called Endocalyx Pro.
Okay.
And you can only get it through our company, through a representative with our company. And your mom represents it, I represent it, and we're happy to answer any questions anybody has. I love it. I just love, we actually have all 4 patents that a nutraceutical can get. Took us 6 years and $12 million to prove to the FDA that we earned all 4, but because we have them, the FDA cannot take this away from us and stick it on a shelf and never release it. That's what excites me.
I
So
love that. I
yeah,
love
I
that.
love it. I love it. And we're the only supplement in the world proven to do what it does. And its sole and only job is to repair and then protect the entire endothelial glycocalyx body wide. So simple, it's got one job. Right. And once that one job is accomplished and you keep it super healthy, then everything else you put in your body is just either super beneficial for you or not so beneficial, depending on what you chose to put in your body.
Right.
Yeah.
And you would say, and I know the answer to this, but I'm just going to say it. Obviously having the right food as well as, is the best medicine.
You can't take a great nutraceutical and then go eat a Big Mac and a big large order of fries and a Coke. That it's just not smart, right?
Okay.
All of that destroys that lining that you're working so hard to optimize. So, I have this phrase because when I was so sick and bedridden for 3 years and like starving inside my own body from the damage that had happened, I came up with the phrase, I have to love my fork, because food was my enemy for a lot of years because it hurt. Like it made me hurt so bad. And so I had to learn to love what I put in my mouth. So I had to choose wisely so every bite nourished every cell. And I just had that visual picture as I slowly ate, chewed really well, took my time. Meals became a ritual for me. It became my own love story with my own body. I had to make it that way or I'd live in fear and pain all the time. And that was really huge. So I always tell people, love your fork. Love yourself so much that what you put on your fork will nourish every cell in your body. It's not a punishment. It's actually a blessing that you can afford to do this. I always tell people, look what you get to do for yourself. You get to choose to do this. It's not something, oh, I have to do it. You get to choose to do it. And so when you can shift that mindset, have that mindset with implementing some of these tools, it's a radical shift, not only in your physical health, but your mental state, and it ripples out into the community around you. People notice and they ask, and then they're like, wow, I want to feel like you do. How do I do that? So, it's beautiful to just live by example and then watch it bless all those around you.
Yeah. And that's something, the love your fork. I'm very honest on my show and I talk about I was bulimic. I say for about 13 years, but honestly, it was longer. And I had a very unhealthy and sad relationship with food, very, and now it's been 10 years. It'll be 10 years next May. And I really do thank God. And when I say I thank God, because I prayed about it and I pray about it now. And I have had a turbulent relationship with food as a result of childhood trauma, adulthood trauma. And then now for the first time, I'm really understanding by listening, watching things like the Blue Zones, on Netflix, things about don't go over a certain percentage of being full, which is a learning experience for someone who that was my jam, was get as full as I could, as much as I could, filling up something. And now learning about, like what you said, loving things like sprouts and kimchi and things that I thought were
fermented foods. I cannot talk enough about how great fermented foods are for you, because probiotics are great. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But if you have a spoonful of kimchi with your lunch and a spoonful of any good organic vegetable you've fermented that you haven't like put a lot of dyes and sugars in, right? You can make your own very easily. Have a scoop of that with your lunch and have a scoop with your dinner. And that's your pre and probiotics right there. I have plenty of clients who they cannot swallow a capsule. They can't. Okay. It's just not in them. And they don't want to take the powder out and put it in a drink because they don't like the flavor. And I'm like, well, let's move to fermented foods. Do you like savory? And they're like, I love savory. Do you like pickles? I love pickles. Let's stay away from the store-bought dill. Let's learn how to make your own little jar of vegan kimchi and just have a little spoonful with your lunch, have a little spoonful with your dinner. Learn to love the savory flavors. And then that's going to populate the good bacteria in your gut. So just learning, I spent a lot of years trying to put a lot in me because I lost so much from being ill after I ate meals because my gut couldn't process it. So I was like, okay, I need to put more in so something will stay. Well, that was wrong too. I need to fix all the holes in my gut so that I could actually absorb the nutrition. I was renting my food basically.
Right.
And yeah. So, it turned into a massive love affair with food. Like my husband and I cook together, and we love, I mean, we'll be married 39 years, and we love, still to this day, 41 years after I met him, we love cooking together. So dinner is like a ritual for us. Like, what are we going to have? Let's take a half hour. It's simple. It's not super fancy, but it's simple and healthy. And then we sit down at a nice table. We spend time together. We don't like sit in front of the TV or have our cell phones with us. We make that intentional communication time where, we just enjoy each other's presence, sometimes in silence, but we enjoy every bite. And that's a big part of your body. You're anticipating what it's going to do for your body. Your body sets itself up cellularly when you look forward to what you're eating, and it's good and nourishing. So it's this whole realm I had no clue about growing up. And I love it. I love mealtime now.
I think it's wonderful. My mom, I'm learning to cook at this age and stage in life, strangely enough, but I'm really enjoying it. My mom today, before this afternoon, when I came home from teaching, was making a big thing of vegetables, all organic. There was squash and asparagus and everything in there. And then she made a side of basmati rice and lentils. And we wanted, oh, it was delicious, delicious. I'm doing a little bit of a kind of mostly low carb. So I will have a little bit of the rice, but eating like this, and we're making fish. We're making, a lot of the healthier, the fish, the wild caught. And, and the just different things. The only meat that we eat is the grass-fed meat. If we do, and it's pretty rare, honestly, that we do. So I eat a lot of salad, everything organic, but I put kimchi in it. And we call it kefir. We pronounce it kefir, but in the
kefir
here, kefir.
Yeah.
But we have all of that. I know it's fermented, and I know it's for me, like I feel like I'm healing through the food. Like it's making me well.
Yeah. And you're making the decisions. So you're affecting that healing by choosing what you're putting in. So it's a beautiful symbiotic relationship between head, heart, and your food, which is beautiful.
And our gut, our microbiome.
Yeah.
I have this is just the end of Active Aging Week, which I've done a lot in my classes about that. So I want to ask, what advice would you give for us to, to age optimally, healthily?
The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning before I even get out of bed is I wake up grateful. And I literally out loud tell the Lord, I am so excited. I'm so grateful for, and I name 3 things I'm grateful for. And before I go to bed at night, I thank him for a few other different ones. Right. And so I start my day in a positivity, a love mindset going into the day. And I always take a moment and I really ponder on, what can I do today to help somebody? How can I be servant-minded with the knowledge I have, with the products I know? Just, is there someone out there I'm supposed to share knowledge with? And being other-minded is huge, because I can only use my mom as an example. God bless her, but she's widowed and bedridden, hasn't gotten out of bed in 3.5 years, and lives on Ensure. Like, no quality, right? It just saddens me. And I'm like, I'm not gonna be that. I'm going to be active. I'm going to make those choices. But she lived a processed food life.
Yeah.
And chronic asthma for 40 years and a lot of medications. And so unfortunately now the side effects have all come into play. And so she's in pain all the time, and she's bedridden, can't even walk anymore, and can't eat solid food. And I'm like, I know I can make choices that hopefully will keep that from happening to me, and I can be just active and vital longer and stronger. And I get to make the choices. And I tell people, nourish your brain. I can't recommend enough that people will take your mom's brain classes. I mean, she has so much knowledge. Your mom is just such a fount. I just so respect your mom and what she knows and what she passes forward. And the classes that you teach, they're just a beautiful thing to behold. And, especially as women, I'm noticing all the names here, we're all women, right? Because it's women. But what did we do growing up? And what did we do as moms? We expended ourselves to our detriment to fulfill all the needs of our family, our husband, our children. And then when our children grew and flew, we were exhausted, we were spent, we had nothing left physically, emotionally, mentally, and we were broken down. What kind of example is that to our children? I tell people it's like being in an airplane. If the airplane's going down and those air masks drop, they always tell you put your mask on first, then put the one on your child. Because if you can't breathe, you can't take care of your children. And so it's the same thing in our daily health. You have to take care of yourself so that then you can take care of others. I can speak directly from being bedridden and literally dying for 3 years. I mean, I stopped weighing myself at 84 pounds when I was the sickest I was because I couldn't hold any food in me. My body couldn't digest food. And so I know what it is to be at the bottom of the barrel with your health. And I know what it is to claw my way back up to the top. And now to be at the top of the mountain, I'll never make a decision that sets me back another step because I don't want to step back into that place. Yeah. So I've learned to love and respect myself. And food is a big part of that. And brain health is a huge part of that. So, you know, I have friends who are 98 years old and they're still riding bicycles, driving cars, and going bowling. Yep. And I want to be that, right?
Of course, that's you know, that's the goal. That's the absolute goal. And my mom will tell me she's going to live to 111 cognitively and physically well. And I know she is because I watch every day what she does. We have those choices. You know, sometimes I'll hear someone say, oh, I don't want to live to be very old, but why not? If you're going to be healthy and happy and well and get to see all these, you know, beautiful things. And we as well wake up every day, my mom and I, and say 3 things we're grateful for to each other. We call it doing, we do our gratties because it puts you in that beautiful mindset of being positive no matter what's happened the day before. We all have stuff happen the day before, just as
every day is a new beginning. Every day is a new beginning.
It is, exactly. You just start over. Even if there's some days I don't make the best food choices, I try not to do that, but it happens. I'm a human being. The next day I wake up and this is a new day. It's a new beginning. I thank God every day. I'm not bulimic. I'm not doing things to harm myself. I'm just trying to live this life and I want to spread the joy because it is joyful, right?
It is.
It is. How can people get hold of you?
Sure. Well, I know that I gave you my LinkedIn profile is just my name, Beth Hinderaker. And I gave you my contact information. So if anybody would like to learn more, I mean, I didn't even have a chance to talk about the camera that our company is putting into the field that measures your vascular health. That can be for another conversation. Sure. But if anybody's interested in learning more about that nutraceutical or just has questions, I'm a firm believer. So many people spoke into me when I was so sick, never charged me. Right? They just saw I had a need and they loved me and gave me some information to step into on my own. And I swore that I would do the same the rest of my life. If I have knowledge, I need to share it and I need to give it freely as a gift. So I am more than happy to have any conversations with anybody who wants to reach out to me. You feel free to post my phone number and it's my direct cell. And I love meeting new people over the phone and hearing their story. And if I have any word of wisdom that would bless them, I love to share it. And of course, if they want to order any of the supplements or learn more about them, they can reach out to me at my phone number or the email I provided you.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Yeah. And I will definitely, I know I'm going to have a lot of people that are going to be asking me for your information. And I just think, you know, the gift of paying it forward or the gift of, you know, of doing these things is that we can touch people. And I have people sometimes, and I understand this from my heart when I'll say, you know, we eat completely organic and do the oils and the supplements. And they say, I just can't afford it. Just afford what you can, but you're going to pay now or you're going to pay later. And that's my whole premise. If we have to put on a credit card, believe you me, we do, because I just want to have whatever opportunity that we can have. Like there's no price tag on our health. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I just so believe in it. I remember when I first moved in with my mom 6.5 years ago, I would see some of the bills from Whole Foods or from the doTERRA or from the microbiome and or a company like yours and think, oh, this is nuts. So, and now I'm like all on board. I am 100%.
Let me leave everybody with a free tip that can change your health this winter. So yes. I garden everything. Like I grow most of what we eat. And I love it. Like I am in the dirt every morning early before the sun's totally risen because I love that. And I grow my food. Not many people have that mindset. But if you have just a little pot on your front deck with salad greens, that will massively impact you because you grew them. Even better if you have a second little pot of rosemary. You can buy a rosemary at Home Depot for $3, right? Impossible to kill. put it on your front porch, let it grow. And in the morning, take a little fresh sprig, rinse it off, boil water, put that sprig in a coffee mug and steep it for 5 to 10 minutes and sip it. Rosemary, the essential oils that come out of the fresh rosemary or
Oh,
dry
it's one of the, yeah, it's one
as
of
a
our,
tea are phenomenal for immune system all through the winter. It will bolster your immune system. It tastes wonderful. It's good for you. Breathing the aroma is great. Drinking it's great. And it just really costs next to nothing to do. And rosemary will grow and grow and grow and grow.
thank you
And
so much. I can't believe it's been 30 minutes, but
oh,
thank you so, thank you so, so much. And I thank everybody for joining us and have a beautiful rest of your evening.
thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Bless you.